Hi there, this is Brian Gibbons, and I want to talk to you if you're an agent or a broker. How would you like to have the only game in town? Would you like the only game in town? Would you like to be able to help sellers that can't sell and buyers that can't buy? Would you like that? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about being a rent-to-own agent or a seller financing agent. And why should you get involved with that? It's not a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. It's a non-lending market. So let's touch on a few ways you can make money now. Right? First of all, when a deal is not getting done, you need to approach the seller. Now, how do you approach the seller as far as showing them how to get full price or a higher price, but do it on terms? Here's a great resource. Gary Keller of Keller Williams wrote a book called Shift. Chapter 10 is creative financing. Now, if you're a young broker, a young agent, well, let's say you got your agency license, your agent's license, your broker's license before 2000. I'm sorry, after 2000, between 2000 and 2002, or even younger than 2004, 2005. You were order takers. It was easy. You put your post in the ground in front of the house, throw a few ads in, and you got 3 or 4 offers. Banks were lending easy, above appraisal. Now what's in? Well, they're not lending at all. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to just think outside the box. Now, if you're an older person like me, we had to use creative financing back in the 80s. I'm telling you how old I am. But Chapter 10 does a good job of talking about creative financing. Now, if you owned a house, you weren't an agent, but you owned a house, how could you sell it creatively? Lease to own, rent to own, lease with an option to purchase. That's one. Another way is seller financing using notes. If you're a seller, depending on the state you're in, you can generally create the following process, and this is what I help people do. First thing we do is we get a large down payment. Let's say we had a $100,000 house, and we had a buyer that wanted to avoid a bank. So some problem, but he's fine now. You want to avoid a bank? Think about doing this. 20% down. Okay, step 1. Step 2 is we're going to create 2 notes of the balance. Now, $80,000 is the balance. We're going to take most of that, maybe 70, okay, and create a new first mortgage. Let's say we have a free and clear house. If we have a free and clear house, we're going to create that new first. And it's going to be a little bit more. It's going to be about 8%. But the payment's going to be affordable. Okay. Then we're going to have a small second, $10,000 second. So what have we done? We got 20% down. And there's your commission. You get your commission. Second of all, you get a big first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you get the seller some cash. How? We use what's called a partial. P-A-R-T-I-A-L. A partial note business is where you actually sell part of the note, the front end of the note, and maybe get the seller 30 grand, 40 grand, something like that. And we keep that small second at the bottom at 10,000 at 8%. 30-year amortization. And we basically give the buyer about 8 years to pay it off. But if the seller needs cash, we can help them. If they need $20,000, we can pull it out of the first mortgage. We'll need 6 months season. But that sounds complicated, doesn't it? It's seller financing. It's using notes. Good notes, strong notes. Notes that in the secondary market, you can sell the front end of the first with a big down payment and a small second. Got it. When you come to me, I'm going to help you create the note. And second of all, he says, well, I don't know who's going to buy this note. Well, if you have a new appraisal, we have a credit report on the buyer, we can help you underwrite the buyer, create the notes, and in 6 months, get the cash to sell. You get your commission no way. I'm backing up, I talked about rental home before. How hard is it to put an ad in the paper that says this agency will help buyers that can't buy? Come on in and we'll get you the financing, either through seller financing or on rental. All you have to do is take the lead, put name, address, phone number, email, how much money they have down, pull their credit. Okay? Now I want to talk a little bit about the SAFE Act. In the SAFE Act, if you are a real estate agent and you work with a note broker, HUD doesn't care about that. What HUD's worried about the SAFE Act is if real estate investor types, individuals, go knock on the door of that expired listing, it's like, oh, I can help you sell your house. But they don't want to. So they're going to need a mortgage broker's license. They're going to need all sorts of disclosures. So work with me. If you're an agent, how would you like to close? I think I can get you 10, 20 houses a month this week. But you got to set your business up and change. Now I'm going to require you to read chapter 10 in the book Shift. Read that chapter. Gary Keller talks about brokers and agents that can't do what they did yesterday, 2007, 2008, 2009. You're going to go out of business. You're going to shift. You're going to get expenses low. Think outside the box. Look at your competitors in your zip code. Who's doing this? Nobody. Hey, I will help you. I'll help you with marketing. I will help you get more buyers and sell on terms to sellers. I highly recommend you open up a group called meetup.com. Meetup.com. And just basically call it. If you can't buy a house, you come to the meeting. If you can't sell a house, you come to the meeting. We're going to help you. And just talk about this concept. How does that sound? Does that sound like a good idea? Now beware of certain types of contracts like a land contract and installing land contract for deed, things of that nature. Because usually the buyer or the seller are disadvantaged. In a lease with an option of purchase, very few people are disadvantaged. Okay? And we really like to help the buyer buy the property. If for some reason after 3 to 5 years they can't get a mortgage, we will help them get seller financing on the property and all the credits. And you got to teach the sellers that we can't control what's going to happen with the government, the United States government and HUD and FHA. What are they going to do? We don't know what they're going to do. Our job is to help buyers buy and help sellers sell with whatever tools we have. Read chapter 10 of Creative Finance. You know, the tools that we've been using to sell houses in terrible living markets. So just remember back in the 80s, the interest rates were 11 to 15%. Bank loans were not a good idea. Right now they're not a good idea. Okay? We need to think outside the box. So do me a favor. Down below, just opt in and look, give me a call. I'll put my phone number. Give me a ring. If I can help you, terrific. If I can't help you, well, this is Brian Gibbons with BrianGibbons.biz. Helping agents and brokers bring your cash up, making buyers happy, making sellers happy. Thanks for listening. This is short for you. Bye for now. Make sure you